Alright, this is my COC REAP build. I'm gonna run a map first and then we will talk about it. %3% increased pack size. Looking thick. Alright, that is the COC Reaper. The COC Reaper is great because I don't have the skills to use Reap. For some reason, when I use Reap, I just miss. My Reaps do not go where they're supposed to go. I'm not very good at controlling my mouse. What the hell did this guy buy? And why isn't it highlighting? Oh yeah, I am not very good at hard casting Reap. When I'm playing the game and I try to hit Reap on somebody, I usually miss. That's why I've always played Exsanguinate over Reap. So using Reap in a COC setup, I'm actually able to properly play Reap. I like Reap. Reap is probably one of the most, if not the most, overpowered spell in this game. And that's likely mostly because of its physical base, but also because Reap just hits really hard. So let's go over the gear first. Cold Iron Point, I got this one with 52% increased damage over time. Not really a big element because I'm not really using damage over time. It's just one I already had. This ring right here is for stats and the physical damage leached is life. That's pretty important because Reap uses life. And as you see, my life pool is teeny tiny at 3,244. The energy shield at 1,300 is what's keeping me alive most of the time. So that's for stats. This right here is for impale on crits. This guy, because he's really good and has a regenerate life, which is important when you have reach, and +1 to maximum power charge, increased critical strike chance for spells, energy shield, life, unaffected by poison, 16% damage recouped his life. This is giving me so much power for one item. Everything here I really need. I really need to be immune to poison. I really need recoup. I need life, energy shield, and crit for spells. Regeneration and power charge. This is a fantastic choice for this type of a setup. I'm using a Carcass Jack. You can use any body armor you like. I like Carcass Jack because that area of effect is excellent, but what's important with this Carcass Jack is the +1 to level of socketed skills. You want that +1 to level of socketed skills because we are using Empower. That +1 to Empower and pumps up everything else extremely high. So any body armor that you have, you want at least +1 to gem. If you want to go crazy, you're going to look for a body armor with +1 to socketed gems, +2 to duration. And that's going to pump your Reap up a lot and give you a ton of damage. So this is just bare minimum +1 to level of socketed gems. You're going to get that 4 divines for a unique. I got this for 4 divines right here. So about 4 divines for your body armor. You want to go crazy, you can get them with the doubles, but if they're hit right with the doubles, they are very expensive. You can do it with just this. I am using Replica Dragon's Fang. This bad boy with Reap, I haven't updated it, was like 30 chaos. 30 chaos for a Reap Replica Dragon's Fang. That is insane power per price. The price of this versus the power is astronomical. So this is very powerful, and the price, you can't beat it. There's better amulets. If you want to go full ham with this build and turn it into a 100 divine build, there are way better amulets. But this build, you can probably get going for like 10 divine if you include the body armor. If you already got your body armor piece, this is much cheaper. So that's important. This ring right here is how we pump up the majority of our physical damage. Herald of Purity has 51% increased buff effect, 61% increased physical damage while affected by Herald of Purity, and we are using a lot of auras, and we are doing some aura pumping. Not too much aura pumping, but a little bit of aura pumping. The belt is a stat stick. The jewel is a really good jewel. You're gonna want, if you got to figure out a way to get elemental immunity. You can do Purity of Elements, or you can do the Lightning Avoidance or Fire Jewel. I'm using the Lightning Jewel, so this has Corrupted Blood and 42% chance to avoid shock. That's why I'm using it. The other stats are nice to have. Kind of useless for me. Regenerate mana per second and mana and strength and dex, but all I really have it for is the chance to avoid and the Corrupted Blood. This is where I get my ailment immunities for elemental damage. Now, Replica Inna's Epiphany. I have an 8% spell suppressed one. That's pretty powerful. That's a really good roll. It's got perfect int on it. This is good because it gives you the life regeneration, which helps offset the cost of reach of Reap. Add 5% damage per power charge. I have 8 power charges, so that's 40% increased damage, 40% movement speed, and what is that? 4% life regeneration per second. And then we have the shield. Now the shield, you can do a double cold iron point if you so choose, but I'm using a shield with 30% increased reservation efficiency, which is, and +1 to physical. Everything else is nice. The 28% faster restart of energy shield is actually pretty hot. But the energy shield base on this is really low, which is why I was able to get this bad boy for like 30 chaos or something like that. I got it a long time ago. It's probably a lot more expensive now. Let's see what happens when I do +1 to physical skills and socketed gems. Get rid of this. 2 divine. Okay, I've been sitting on this for a while. When I bought it at 30 chaos, it was really close to the beginning of the league. I'm very glad I bought it. So this kind of a setup is going to be expensive. If you want, you can just remove this physical skill, and you'll be able to get a ton of this increased efficiency. Or if you don't want to use all the auras I'm using, you can just do +1 to physical on your shield or a cold iron point. So many options, all of them work. You just have to make sure, I'm going to start calling them macros, like working out. You got to hit your macros. You got to hit your resistance macros, you got to hit your life macros, you got to hit your spell suppress macros. You got to hit all of your macros in order to get it. When you're mapping, you're going to want to use, well, I like to use Divergent Increased Air Effect. If you want to be lazy, you can just keep critical strike damage. If you're rich, you can grab that Awakened Spell Cascade and do that with Reap, and that's going to give you that triple spell cascade, and it's going to cover the whole screen, and it's going to be glorious. I am not rich. For some reason, that bad boy is like 30 divines, and I had 30 divines at one point, but I've spent it all and had fun, you know, building stupid builds. So I am not rich enough for that. So that is the basic gear setup. I'll explain my flask. This is just for movement, evasion. This one has spell suppression. This one has critical strike during the flask. Spell leech. I have 2 spell leeches, so I'll probably get rid of this one. And then this one because I like to have the 3 endurance charges. And 200 ward is like 200 more life. And I am at 1,622 life. So that's basically like pumping me up to 100. And it's like adding 200 to energy shield, more so than life. Because I don't think the ward is going to take benefit from petrified blood. Anyways, y'all get that. It's a nice flask. Let me grab a new flask real quick for this one. I'm only using that for the movement speed, so I guess I really don't need that one. It'd be real nice to have a flask that gives me critical chance to gain a flash charge on critical strike. But I'm not sure I have one of those. We'll just do stun and block recovery, since I already have that covered there. Anyways, that's your flask setup. It'd be real nice to get a gain flash charge on critical strike. I don't have one of those currently, and I really hate rolling flask. It's just super annoying, so I rarely do it. As you see, all my flasks are mostly tier 3, tier 2, tier 2. If you're a serious player, you can pump these numbers up to ton. I just roll something that's good enough, and then I pop them on there. I probably ought to do more flasking, but I don't really care. It makes a difference, but it doesn't make a world of difference. And the time it takes to do that is too much for me. And it's too much time where I'm not playing the game and I'm just rolling flask. And I hate rolling flask. Alright, so let's go to the skill tree. Assassin. Probably not the best class, but I already have Assassin leveled, so that is what I'm using. I'm using one step ahead. One can make the argument for Clockwork. To get the cooldown recovery of 30%, but I'm using one step ahead just because I like to have the faster action speed, and it avoids a lot of on-the-ground slowdowns, so it's really nice. I like it. You can also just do 2 really nice jewels, and that's pretty great. Now my skill tree looks a little awkward. Usually I come this way and I grab this dex and this strength and I path over this way, just straight over, piped up. But I found with my low life that this bad boy, Lethal Shade, or I guess it's not lethal, it's Leaf Shade. I don't know what a leaf is. It's like a weird variation of a leaf. That's what it is. Lee-the. So it's like the, because I think Lee is, you know what, I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. I don't know any foreign languages. I don't know what that word means. So I happen to like this a lot for this build. Because when I'm running through the maps and there's damage over time on the ground, by the time I notice it, I'm usually dead. But this I take 50% less damage over time if you've started taking damage over time in the past second. So this is really good for damage over time, and I personally love it. Now I'm wasting a lot of points to come up here, but it's not that much of a waste because I'm also getting this spell suppression, which I need to pair with this spell suppression, making my spell suppression 69. It's important to get your spell suppression to 69 for the memes, and then give yourself lucky spell suppress. This will probably put me in the 90 percentile range for the most part. I'm gonna suppress spells, and I'm killing everything so quickly that the odds of a spell hitting me and killing me are pretty low. I did manage to level up from 45, just making up numbers, from 94 to 95. So the fact I was able to level up and I didn't die once while doing the entire leveling process says that the build can perform pretty well. Now I need to level up a few more to get a lot of value. So right now I am missing out on 25% increased area of effect if I've killed at least 5 enemies, and this guy here, 40% increased damage with skills that cost life. These two right here are going to provide, this one's going to provide 40% increased damage, and this one here is going to provide 25% increased area of effect. And then you also have this one here, 3% damage per power charge, and I have 8, so that's like 32% increased damage. This one's not that spectacular. But there are a few nodes that I am missing. So that is the skill tree. This part right here, it just looks awful. I hate it. I hate that, like, it would make more sense to be able to go here, but then I hate it. I think the Trickster starting point is extremely powerful, but it's always awkward to navigate through this whole area. It's awkward to get to this node because of this node, and this node's extremely powerful. And ideally, you'd probably want to come through here to get all this physical damage. You get an extra 5% movement speed, which is pretty spectacular. And then you can grab that and all this. But I really wanted to use that, so I pathed out of here. You can probably make a better pathing than what I have now, but I personally like it. It's what I'm going. For my large cluster jewels, this one's important because my elemental resistances are a bit low. This one's extremely important because of the evasion. And then double damage is always nice. Now this bad boy, 10% increase effect of my auras. As I said, I'm doing a bit of aura pumping. And this one is just so I can squeeze in all the auras. And obviously I showed you this guy that we don't have, but we have 30% increase effect of Arcane Surge, 10% chance to gain Arcane Surge when you hit a unique enemy. That's going to give me Arcane Surge. I have no other way of getting Arcane Surge, so that's pretty excellent. And then this is Reducing Grace, giving me Elemental Resistance. This bad boy was 1 Divine. You kind of got to shop around to find a really good one, and this is a really good one. This is just a little bit of crit and Chaos Resistance. I need some crit, so I got a little extra crit. Now I could path into here and get this crit for crit multi, which is a big chunk of damage, but it's just a little too awkward to get to. So I put in a cluster jewel to get a little bit of that crit. Now it doesn't give me any crit multi, but it should be pretty fine. This jewel here gives me the rest of my shock avoidance. You can get all of your shock avoidance with just 2 jewels. I have this one and the one on my belt. That's how I prefer to do it. You can find your other ways. If you're really lucky, you can get, where are you, right here? You can get one of these. It's corrupted to get shock avoidance at the top part. I corrupted mine and it got elemental penetration. I was a little sad, but it's better than bricking it. And that right there is the skill tree. Now if you want to go fast, you can gain the elusive and you'll be pumping elusive and going zoom zoom. But I personally like this one a little bit better for the Culling Strike and all the crit. It's just a little bit nicer, and the 10% crit multi here is actually a pretty big deal on all of these nodes. These 2 crit multis is pretty much what makes the Assassin a very good class in general, because these are probably some of the strongest nodes leading into the main node. 10 crit multi is really powerful in a build that does a pretty close to 100% crit. You're getting 20 here. It's just really nice. All right, that is the thought process and the skill tree that I have. Now let's go over some of my gems. For Reap, I'm doing Empower, Cyclone. I was going to buy the more expensive Cyclone, but I kind of want the Area of Effect. The Area of Effect is going to allow me to hit more enemies. I know it's only 10%, but the more I can get, the better. This feels real bad without Carcass Jack and without increased Area of Effect, because your Cyclone is so tiny that you're barely hitting anything, and then it makes your Reap small. So getting really big Reap is nice. Now if you're going to go Exsanguinate, you can go for the Fast Cyclone that reduces your movement speed. But with that, in conjunction with 1 step ahead, using the regular Cyclone is fine. Awaken Brutality, a lot of power. It pigeonholes you into a physical chaos build, but that's totally fine. If you want to go Elemental, you just get rid of this and replace it with pretty much anything else that you want. Critical damage, that's a huge boost of damage because my crit multiplier is extremely low on this build. Reap and Awaken cast on crit. Cast on regular is fine. I happen to find an Awaken because of my playstyle. I get a lot of these Awaken gems. And that is the 6-link setup for the Reap. Up here I'm using Steel Skin, Assassin Mark, Life Tap, and Mark on Support. Steel Skin I have on my left click. Then over here we have Grace, Haste, and Pride. These are my auras, each one getting reduced % by 30. 30% increased reservation efficiency, to say it correctly. Down over here we have Petrified Blood, Enlightenment level 4, Herald of Purity, and Dash. Now I'm using Dash simply because it has a low mana cost. I would use Frostblink, but Frostblink has a higher mana cost, and the odds of it not triggering with my 17 available mana is pretty high. And with Frostblink, when you can't do anything other than physical damage, Frostblink doesn't have a cooldown reduction. When you blink, you do a bunch of enemies. So for now, I'm using Dash. If I fight Maven, I'll probably put Frost Blink on. I have Frost Blink here. I have Dash here. I can switch them however I want. I'm kind of just using both. Using Dash for now, but I can switch to Frost Blink anytime I choose. Vitality, Arrogance, War Banner, Arrogance, Clarity, Precision. Now, I love low life because this banner, Vitality, Clarity, Precision setup is just so powerful to be able to get with free reservation. Because Precision will wreck your mana, but it will barely touch your life. You put Precision and Clarity on hitting your mana pool, it's going to be more than Petrified Blood all by itself. You max these out and you put them on there and you don't have a lot of mana, it's cheaper just to throw Petrified Blood in there and then to move this over to your life. Petrified Blood is extremely hot. If you fully understand how to use it, I recommend it on almost every build, especially if you're casting spells and you can get Pain Attunement to get 30% more damage when on low life. And I am casting spells. Alright, I covered the gear, I covered the skills. Now, let's do some gameplay. I would love to play some music, but a lot of that retro music I was playing was totally fine with the copyright. But with time, it's gotten... all my videos that I have any of that retro music in, they've all gotten demonetized. Or monetization split or whatever. Basically, the pennies I make on these videos are now going to whoever decided to copyright the music. And I don't think it's the people who own the music. I think it's like copyright trolls that somehow get the copyright of all this. Because some of the companies are really wacky looking. Alright, let us go ahead and do some mapping. This build is strong across the board. So let us start. I think I'm completely full on this. So spell suppress, reduction of auras, wither. Look at that. That's a pretty big map. And we're going to run it. Gonna have to pull these out. So this will just be my 10 map bosses. As you saw, some pretty nasty stats. I don't really like to die like that at the very beginning, but you know, I'll make up for it. This is kind of a dip. There we go. Power charge is up. Did he just vanish? That dude just did ninja vanish. Super quick, super easy. If you play a little more cautiously before you get your power charges up, you got that kill. Alright. Let us do an Elder. This is a good mapper, but it's also a pretty damn good bosser. I haven't done any bossing with it, really. I fought a Sirius with it, and it just wrecked Sirius. That's the only boss I fought, so these are all going to be new bosses here. You can probably do Ubers. I don't have any Ubers selected right now. It might be a little difficult on some of them. You have to accept that you're going to die, because it'll do Ubers because of its high damage, but its survivability is pretty low. And you saw my power charges. Once I got max power charges, the damage really starts to take off. Now, my crit chance on my Reap is like 80% or something like that. I don't want it to be 100% because I have that assassin mark. Alright, 70% crit chance on the spells, and then with the assassin mark on it, you're going to be pretty close to 100. You're going to be between like 90 and 100. That's kind of right where you want it. You can go crazy and go all the way to 100 if you so choose. It'll make mapping a little bit smoother, but the damage is high enough and mapping is smooth enough as it is. See the portals, they just vanish. And as soon as he's ready to fight again, he's just gonna vanish as well. Now for banners, I personally like the I forget what it's called, the physical banner. It gives me accuracy, which helps me hit a lot, and it gives me increased physical damage for enemies. Now, if you really wanted to, if you didn't want to go as heavy on the auras that I'm going, you could totally swing in Flesh and Stone, which would give you evasion and blind enemies up close if you're on the sand, and if you want to go physical, it'll make enemies take increased damage that are maimed by you, and all enemies around you are maimed, so you're going to be doing increased damage, and you can do that instead of Pride, because Pride is pretty expensive. It is very strong and very powerful, but I've had to do quite a bit on the aura side. As you saw, I got this node, I got this node, I got 1 aura, 2 aura, and then this guy here. So if you don't quite have all the auras you can do, you can get rid of Pride, and you can put in Flesh and Stone. I was doing that for a while, but I figured I might as well pump it up and get some auras. As you saw, that was real easy. Real easy. So let us go a little bigger. Let us go a little bigger. I could run Shaper, but Shaper takes a long time. So it takes almost as long as it takes for me to remember where all this stuff is. So I will just do an Uber Elder. Real quick. I will die. No doubt about it. I will die. This build isn't squishy, but it is pretty easily killable. And I could replace this movement speed flask, but I'll be able to complete it either way, with or without that. I'm guessing 2 deaths. Both from... Oh, the beam might actually be impacted by this. Damn, I think the beam might be damaged. If the beam's damage over time, 1 death. If the beam isn't damage over time, I'm going to have 2 deaths. And they're going to be from the beams. I'm not very good at paying attention to both of these fools. I love the fight. The fight is absolutely excellent. Okay, well, it's going to be a lot more than 2. I don't even know what killed me on that one. Might have killed myself. I didn't see anything hit me. Might have been one of the Elder attacks, because I think they're physical damage, and my physical damage is pretty... My physical damage mitigation is pretty weak. Oh yeah, it was Elder. But as you see, my damage is pretty bonkers. Gotta wait for him to blow up. He blew up. I haven't POB'd it, so I don't know what the actual damage numbers are, but they are pretty high. Probably like 10 million, which is high for me. Obviously, some people do these billion builds, billion damage builds, so that ain't it. Okay, there's death 2. It looks like the Elder Blast are the biggest threat, on top of the fact that I'm killing myself with all my Reap casting. But I have to use COC with Reap, because I can't aim Reap properly without my COC. So every Reap build I will ever do will be a COC Reap. Why the hell did he throw those balls so fast? He was like 1 hit away. Gotta keep on moving. Gotta keep on moving. That beam, I knew the beam would get me one time, because once he's off screen, alright, I was way off with my deaths. Way more than 2. I just thought I would be surviving Elder's little flingy fling a little better. But with this one, you're mostly surviving on the fact that, oh, look at my life. Just vanished. You're surviving on the fact that you're doing a lot of damage. I typically don't like builds that survive purely on damage. I wouldn't really call it a glass cannon, because you do have pretty good defensive layers. And in order to be glass cannon, I think you have to have more damage than this. So it's just a 7 at everything across the board. It's not a 10 on defenses. It's not a 10 on offense. It's not a 10 on speed. Are they dead? Did they drop me nothing? Where'd my loot? Oh, they're just taking a while. Xana's doing something. Xana's preparing herself to be the final boss of Path of Exile 2. That's what she's doing. Alright, we gonna get a good one. 7% maximum mana as extra energy shield. That's a good roll, but it's a little low. 12% energy shield recovery rate, well, affected by discipline. Critical strikes penetrate 8% of elemental resistances. Let us start one by one. That guy. That guy. That guy. Nothing like it on the market. I might be able to get like 10 divine or something. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll put it up for 10, see if anyone wants it. And then I'll slowly decrease the cost. So Uber Shaper, Uber Elder down. And I'll just sell all of this. Unless this is a high roll. What do we got? You a high roll? Da-da-da. That's a pretty high. That's a pretty high roll. I'm gonna keep that. We'll sell you later. Nah, we might as well sell it now. I'm already here. I'm just gonna sell it. Exact price, 10 divine orbs. Alright, let us do another boss. Let's do that guy. Layer of Hydra, Minotaur, Phoenix, and Chimera. Let's see. Less accuracy, reduced. Oh, this would be great. Perfectly rolled. I shouldn't die on this. As soon as assuming I get my power charges up quickly enough, they should all just, like, really quickly die. Got my power charges up. They really quickly died. So those guys are real easy. I have no clue how it would do on the feared. I don't think I have a feared ready. I typically don't like to play the feared. It's just difficult. And you gotta kind of build your build to be able to do the feared. And it's a fun reducer for me. A lot of people might like it, but for me it's a fun reducer. Let's see what other bosses we can do. We got one of these. We'll do one of these guys. We'll do a cereal. Maven's already witnessed Serial. We got a lot of talking that Serial's gonna do here. I wish he wouldn't, but he's definitely gonna. Have your words, Serial. I have him muted. And what else can I talk about while we wait 45 minutes for this guy to do his thing? Nothing, really. This build will work perfectly fine if you want to manually cast Reap. I don't manually cast Reap because I suck at aiming, as I already said. And if you want to make this guy really pop off, you can get the Awakened Spell Cascade for 30 divines or whatever it's cost. But if you're going to go Awakened Spell Cascade, then you're going to want to just up this across the board. There's a lot of things you can do to up it across the board. This is kind of, I wouldn't say bare minimum as you saw, but this is mid-budget, 10 to 15 divine, absolute baller cock reaper. And everyone loves to reap the cock. If you wanted to use gain power charge on critical strike support, it's not that much of a hit. and it'll ramp up your power charges super fast at the beginning, because this build does require you to get 8 power charges before it starts to pop off. So if you really want to keep your power charges up for like bossing, that might be a good choice, because right now I'm down to 1 power charge, and I'm gonna have to go in, hit him a bunch, get to 8. By the time I get to 8, he's already dead. So I view it as kind of useless either way. But the damage is not that much different between the critical damage support and the gain power charge. Oh, he's phasing again. And because the damage is so high, when you go to regular maps, if you really want to, you can just do increased area of effect on there and make your reaps big, so you can have more clear versus more power. Because the power is pretty strong. I don't often make builds with this much power, simply because when you get builds that are extremely powerful, they've already been built by better creators than myself. They're more serious builds. I try to be more of a clown and a meme lord on here with my builds, mostly because I don't have the, I'm just gonna call it skill, the build skill to make some of these OP builds. But it's also, I kind of don't like to spend that much money on one build, because I don't like to go very deep on each build, because I like the variety. I get bored pretty quickly, and when a build has been played for a few hours, I already want a new build. As you can see, very easy clear there. Very easy. And I got a lame ass one. What are the smalls worth nowadays? 25 chaos. A divine. I can't complain. Can't complain with that drop. Alright, I think we've covered the bossing well enough. Obviously, it's strong. I'm pretty sure it can do... I'll do a red boss. I have a bunch of red bosses. Might as well do a red boss. Not gonna Uberize it. I'll let you determine whether or not it can do Ubers or not. Pretty sure it can. It will die on Ubers. It's probably going to die on this one too. It's pretty weak to physical damage, which is why I'm using this to get the 3 power charges, just to hope that I survive a physical hit. Because 12% reduced physical damage is pretty strong to have across the board. As you can see, my life is barely there because of how much damage I'm taking from the COC REAP. But I cleared it so quick that it doesn't matter. I don't know how to reduce the cost of this COC REAP in a effective way that doesn't hinder my damage so much. So I just accept the fact that my life is getting sucked. Getting the suck. It's getting the zuck suck. 21. At very bottom roll. You guys see that? Oh, but I guess I got a Forbidden Flame. Polymath. Oh, that's not going to be expensive. 9 divine. Alright, shit. Sorry. Let's put that up. Let's go... I'm not greedy. I'll just do the straight 9. Someone might be trying to price fix it, so they're going to buy it immediately. So they can keep the price at 9, but, you know, 9 divine. That's fine. 9 divine is fine. Alright, now let's go into some mapping. I am going to try... I'm going to do it with the crit first, and then I'm going to do increased area of effect. So I'm going to grab the increased area of effect, and I'm going to put it in my inventory. I like the divergent one because it makes it big. The whole point of that is for the big, so you might as well get something that's going to help it with that big. And let's do some mappage. Let's fight some of these bosses. Actually, all these bosses, I've already done the I don't know what to call it. This. There we go. We'll do this real quick, just so I can get more of these. More life. That is a monster roll. I don't want it. You know what? I'm going to challenge myself with a difficult one. The reduced critical strike chance, the more life. This is going to keep them alive for longer. It's going to give you a better demo. So I am going to run this, despite the fact that it's almost tailor-made against my build. The damage numbers are insane. I get looked at, I'm gonna die with this bad boy. Look at those hits. Brutal against me. But my damage is so high that it doesn't matter. These bitches are done. And my survivability was good enough to survive a hit. You saw that. So, as I said, it's like a 7 across the board at every stat. It's a perfect middle of the road 15 divine build. If you want some good CBT action. There we go. Now I can put each one of these guys on blast. Now I can run some of these regular maps. Minotaur, let's grab ya. Curse with vulnerability. That's going to hurt, but I should be fine. I'm gonna start with critical damage. Actually, I'm gonna start with area of effect and then switch to critical damage for the boss. Come on now. I know, we could be listening to some funky tunes, but instead, you just have to do the standard audio from the game. The increased area effect is pretty nice. Makes the reap huge. It's a big old reap. That is a big old reap. And just imagine if I had Awakened Spell Cascade along with increased area effect. That means it'd be extreme coverage. It'd be great. Pretty good at getting most of the stragglers. Sometimes there's a little gap between reap casts, and some of the stragglers can get by. And reap kind of seems like it mostly hits where the red circle is. I don't know exactly what its hit radius is, but I don't think it's hitting towards the handle or the sight or whatever that thing is. So it does seem like it misses a bit. I kind of need a way to designate in my builds what's a build and what's like an experiment. Because a lot of people watch my videos and they are ultra disappointed, as they should be, because they're expecting a build video, but really they're just getting me being an idiot. So they're coming into the video expecting one thing and they're getting another. And I don't want people to come into my channel expecting really good builds and then getting a fucking clown show. There's nothing worse than that. Like you show up to watch Schindler's List and all of a sudden you got Old School. Old School's a good movie, but if you're watching Schindler's List and then you get Old School, you know, you'll be disappointed. And I aim to please. To please in the deepest possible ways. Alright. Now this boss should kinda just melt, but if he hits me, I'm donezo. I should have dropped a portal. Yep, should have dropped a portal. Should have dropped a portal. I'm not gonna make you guys suffer through that at all. I'm not gonna rerun through that map. I am just going to grab another. Just gonna grab another. Because I didn't drop that portal. I'm gonna grab another corrupted. I can't unidentify it. There we go. That should be fine. Let us run another. And this time, I will drop the portal. I'm gonna leave area effect off, because I don't want to switch it. Though, switching it might remind me to drop a portal. I had one commenter say that I shouldn't die in videos that I give to people, and he's probably correct. People probably don't want to see a death. But at the same time, if you make a build that dies, I think it's important that people see that your build actually dies. Like, see that your build does die, and see what it dies to. So this build will die to physical hits pretty easily, and spells not so much. Elemental damage on the ground like this, extremely dangerous, especially if I didn't have that node I was talking about earlier. And it can also die from an overcasting of Reap. So I didn't do a lot. I didn't want to reduce cooldown recovery because I already cast Reap enough. And if anything, I might want to be casting Reap a little less than I cast Reap. So maybe like a attack speed reduction might be warranted. Or maybe even reducing my crit a little for attacks and then increasing crit for spells. Something like that. Oh, yeah, one of these is nice. And not use an increased area of effect. Your Reaps are still pretty damn big because of Carcass Jack. So overall, it's probably better to not mess with any increased area of effect and just use the crit. Or if you're rich, you know what to do. You know what to do if you're rich. Get the bitches. You got the money, then you get the bitches. First you get the power, then you get the money, then you get the bitches. Pretty sure that's the order. Or maybe it's money first, then power, then bitches. But it's definitely not bitches first. It's never bitches first. It's got a bit of a satisfying playstyle because of the, sometimes the Reaps just go ham, and it's like reap, 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 and it just looks cool. Sounds kind of cool, feels kind of cool. Overall, it's a pretty rad build. See, Reap went ham on that one. The other one was a very powerful boss. So he down. Now let's try to do a thick boy map. Let's get it thick. We got maps. Let's do... I really like Silo. Let's thicken up Silo. I hate the boss on Silo, but, you know, the map is a really good map. I like Silo a lot. Pack size, 24. We can go a little better. Come on. Give me that big. Okay. This might be a bit. 20, 18, 22, 21, 26, Reflect Fizz, 26, yeah, that should be fine. 49% increased monster life, keep that in mind. Now let us sex up the map real quick. Where's my sex? There's my sex. Put some sex on the map. I always forget. They really just need to allow the sex to sit here, or just to right-click and auto-apply the sex. Sex is a little too awkward for me because I forget it all the time. Let's do a basic... Let's get... let's just do some rings. I'm gonna go 60% Delirious first. No, I'm gonna go full 100. Fuck it. Let's go full 100. And I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna corrupt it. Did nothing. Corruption dud. And we don't need the increased area of effect with us no more. Alright, so we got 100% Delirious. Let's grab one of these guys. Oh, it's already there, so let's do Beast. Oh, I was like, what the hell's going on? But I got it as part of my sex. Might as well look at my sex here. Unique items, Sacred Grove, Remnant. Go back around, clean up crew. glad I did 100. Thought I was gonna be dying a lot, but the map was pretty safe. If anyone has suggestions on realistic suggestions on how to reduce that reach cost, obviously there's the obvious stuff like selecting reduced costs on the skill tree or anointing reduced costs, but I want something that's a little more substantial. Something that has like 50% reduced life cost of skills, something crazy like that. Because as you see, my life, it will just bottom out. I got pretty good regeneration and I have some leech. Maybe I need more leech, but the life will bottom out, and I no longer can cast Reap because I'm out of life. And if it wasn't for that energy shield, it would be a rough adventure. Which is probably why they allow Reap to be so powerful, because of the life cost. It's extremely strong up front, but once you tune it up with really fast attack speed, cast speed, it makes it untenable in terms of its cost because of how much it costs life. But the same can be true for mana, because mana is also quite difficult to maintain and manage nowadays after they did the proper thing and increased the cost of skills. I think they did that in large part to combat the COC, because the COC was very powerful. And you gotta combat the COC if it gets too strong. And there was a while back there that the COC was way too strong, and they kept nerfing Cyclone to try to diminish the power of the COC, and then they finally found a solution to diminish the power of the COC, and that was to increase the cost of spells. Once they increased the cost of spells, the COC builds all took a massive hit, which is a good nerf. I just wish after they fixed the COC, they went back to Cyclone and said, hey, we can undo all those Cyclone nerfs that we did because we fixed the COC. But they're not gonna do that, because people still use Cyclone enough. But nobody, and I mean nobody, is using Cyclone without Shockwave or without COC, because Cyclone is dead. It is completely dead. In order to make Cyclone work, you have to pump 100 Divine into your build. And even then, if you switch to any other skill, you're going to be doing almost double the damage. Almost. The Cyclone, it's in a bad state. It's in an average state. I can't say it's in a bad state when something like Heavy Strike exists, which is worse than the one with Trauma, Bone Shatter. Heavy Strike is worse than Bone Shatter in almost every aspect, and yet, you know, Heavy Strike has still gotten no love. But that might be because they're trying to figure out what to do with Bone Shatter. Do a little 100% Delirious Harvest. Okay, 100% Delirious Harvest, probably a bad idea, because you're just gonna get hit and stunned and died, just like that. Hit and stunned and died. My evasion, when it's fully maxed out, is like 70%. Let's go to these defenses, which isn't enough. It isn't that much. So 68% right now. So, you know, you're gonna get hit quite a bit. You can do a little bit to up that evasion rating, and I probably ought to, but I don't really care about leveling up anymore. I made it to 95, and that's plenty far enough. Clear out some of the riffraff so I can actually get my curse on this enemy proper. And that should probably kill me. Yep. He's probably not a good idea to fight, but I don't care. I did drop my portal, I believe. Yeah, so if you want Deathless, this is not the build for you. This is like... Actually, I'm gonna finish the job. next time when I spawn them, I'm just not going to stand where they can all hit me immediately. I'm going to finish the job because I want these parts. I'm running low on the juice. And you can use Exsanguinate. I just feel like Exsanguinate isn't quite as good as Reap in a COC setup, simply because you need Awakened Chain for it to feel ultra good. And the Exsanguinates shoot in a specific direction, so a lot of times you'll just miss if you're fighting a single target. Once you Cyclone past the target, your Exsanguinates, like, kind of shoot the direction you're facing, so you miss a lot. Like, your Exsanguinates will just whiff a little bit. It's a little awkward. So Reap is better in COC. You don't want to Exsanguinate the COC, you want to Reap the COC. And again, if you want to do something other than Cold Iron Point, there are several options available to you. Several. But Cold Iron Point is the fastest, the easiest, and the most simplistic. +3 to all physical spells. Easy peasy. Thoughtless. You don't have to craft anything, unless you love crafting. I'm not a big fan of crafting. I love that it exists. But in order to master crafting, you gotta put a little bit of effort into it. Or you can just Google how to craft something. I don't like that either. It takes me out of the game too long. I could play the game, and crafting takes a little bit too long to do for me. So I prefer just to farm up currency, let other people do the crafting, and then I'd buy it. Mana burn is pretty brutal because I only have 17 mana and it will just turn off my Cyclone, and no one likes that. Alright, we did enough of them. Let's get out of here. Fight this red beast. I have no life in the game. I have a life in real life. Come on now. Just kidding, I have no real life in real life either. And let's fight this Kosalix. Hopefully maybe get him away from the wall. Oh, there's another red beast I gotta clear out first. And the essence that I opened. Alright, red beast, let's get you over here, take out the red. I don't know how I died. I didn't see it. Not that you can really see much in this game. Visual clarity might be a little bit of an issue for this game. Maybe. Didn't see it. Alright, I'm skipping that whole area. Whatever's hitting me, I can't see, I can't dodge. It's just getting me, so I'm gonna just dash right on past. Not that getting to the boss is important, but it is gonna spawn 3 bosses, which will be fun. And maybe I'll loot back around, but probably not. Oh, yeah, I have... Oh, I forgot the Sextons. I mean the Scarabs to increase my pack size. We're only doing 69. Oh, that is a huge fail. I'm gonna have to do a whole nother Simulacrum 100 now. Because I don't have the pack size that I needed. The pack size is way too small. And I want to petition to remove all bosses that phase. Just remove them. We don't need this phasing shit. This map is excellent. Why do we gotta have this terrible boss in this map? If you could squeeze in some really good energy leech, that would be strong. But I don't have enough energy shield for the leech to really do too much. But if you pump up your energy shield a bit, then the leech will be pretty strong. And this might be an established build that everyone already knows about. I don't do a lot of reviewing builds or looking at builds, and I never really go to POE Ninja. I don't want the good players to influence me. And what I mean by that is if you're watching the good players and you're just copying everything they're going to do, it is going to stifle your creativity. And you can use it a little bit for inspiration, but if you're just watching what the best players are doing and just assuming that what they're doing is always the best, which in most cases it is, you're just going to be copying other people. And if you kind of avoid the build world of Path of Exile, it'll allow you to experiment on your own terms in your own way. And I kind of like that. So if there's already a Reap Assassin COC build that is identical to this, sorry for wasting your time. Let's see, Atoll. Let's go Atoll. Oh, that's mirrored. I really like Atoll. Boop. Boop. Clear it out. Pump it up. I'm going to put the Sextons in now so I don't forget. And by Sextons, I'll probably say that incorrectly the entire time. I do, in fact, mean Scarabs. I say the wrong words all the time because I'm just kind of just throwing shit out there with my mouth hole. 29% increased pack size, and everything in there should be okay. Oh, monsters deal 31% of extra physical damage as Chaos. Chaos is probably the biggest weakness of my build right now. I don't know if I should do that. I'm going to do it. I don't care. My Chaos resistance is negative 13, and I have nothing to stop Chaos from hitting. Nope, nope, I better not. I'm going to 100% Delirious this, despite that delicious pack size. I want to make a somewhat good viewing experience instead of me popping in and dying every second. But I am running low on... Ooh, 28. Cannot regenerate life. Asshole. 19. 21. 19. 23. 27. All right, let's... God damn it. 22. 26. Less recovery rate of life and energy shield. Do I want less recovery rate of life and energy shield? I don't think I do. Come on. 25. That should be fine. We're going to go 25%. That's not that much. Let's do a currency. Let's do one of these guys. Let's do one of these guys. One of them. Let's get it nice and diverse. One of them. There we go. 100% delirious. I'm going to go crazy. Physical damage reduction. It reduced my pack size. That was not good. Elemental damage is going to wreck me pretty good, but we're fine. We are fine. Kind of wish it didn't decrease my pack size. A little rude, but whatever. Let's put Red Beast in there. Let's get it on. I think I'm going to remove my my movement speed. No, fuck it. I'm going to keep everything. I can use the movement speed class. Stuns can be a bit rough sometimes. You can get a bit stun lock. I have no stun mitigation, really. That energy shield is quite annoying. I'm trying to get the people off of the shrine so I can grab it. There we go. Got the shrine. Now you see my life as it's not going down. That's because I have a bit of life gain on kill, I believe. So as long as I'm killing some of the smaller enemies, you won't see my life go down like crazy. But when you see me fighting a single target or a boss, my life will dip pretty severely. I just survived that Chaos Blast, which is kind of shocking. Was not expecting to survive that. Alright, cleared them out. Now we just got Fatso, Alonzo. Let's go, Alonzo, you Fatso. Easy peasy. What do you got? Why are you killing me? Why did I die? Just damage, I guess. I get offended when people kill me, so I just usually avoid them after they do, because whatever they have kills me, and I'm not gonna read all their stats and their properties or none of that jazz. I'm just gonna leave them alone if they kill me. So if you want me to leave you alone, kill me first, and then, you know, you'll be left alone by me. Cleaning up the neighborhood with some Reap Sweep. Pulling my cock out everywhere. Letting people see how big it is. And how much I can pop it off. Pack size, 104% increased pack size. I've gotten up to 130 before, I believe. Even maybe 140. Gotten some pretty big boy pack sizes. Not worth it. Grand design is not worth it in terms of currency. If making money is your strategy, grand design is pretty awful because that pack size is just no longer good. You don't get loot from pack size anymore. It's just not how it goes. Pack size is the worst place to get loot. Even if you're doing increased quant, even if you're doing increased quant, increased rarity, pack size, it just ain't it. It ain't him no more. Juice maps like this, it ain't him no more. Like, back in the day, if you ran 100% Delirious map, you would have gotten so much loot. But I'm running 100% Delirious map, and I ain't getting shit for loot. And that is the case across the board. You don't get shit for loot with pack size. It is pointless. Pack size is pointless for anything except fun. And I have a lot of fun with pack size, so I'm keeping it for a little while longer. And I should have saw my life and energy shield vanish at that point and then dashed away and let the energy shield recharge a bit. And the build would serve much nicer with more evasion. Evasion is a little too low. There's a few things I can do about it, but for the most part, I like where it's at. I'm not going to be doing a lot of this kind of content with this build. I'm just doing it for the video. So having a little bit diminished evasion and taking hits like that is totally fine. But if you're going to make this your main build, you're going to want to pump those evasion numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. My evasion are rookie numbers. Jesus. Throwing plant juice everywhere. Sweet juice. This plant has something that I'm unable to penetrate. Reduce physical damage taken, probably. Fucking bubble boy. Reduce physical damage with a little bit of life regen, probably. Clear out the riffraff. Look at that life. Non-existent. Alright, let's fight this guy. Oh, you see the chaos damage right there? Got from the chaos damage. I love when I see why I die. It's ultra frustrating to die and just have absolutely no clue why you die. Which is most of my deaths. Actually, I'm gonna get out of this plant zone. Oh, that's not how I get out of the plant zone. That's how I waste a portal. I'm gonna get out of this plant zone the correct way this time. Which will be touching this guy. I want to clear the map. I gotta pay attention to the ice boss. He does his ice circle hit, and I have 12% reduced elemental resistances. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna skip him. He's scary. Oh, actually, I can't skip him. I'm in the boss room. I forgot. Okay. Oh, there's his ice attack. You're doing the ice attack. Look at my life. Just non-existent. God, this guy is tough. Get out of here, Maven. You're mean. You're a meanie. Alright, let's do some cleanup. I'll get back to you, Fat Man. Just sweep this up a little bit. Pick up my exalted orb. Alright, let's go fuck a Fat Man. That life just gone. just gone. Just eaten. Get that red beast. Get that red beast. Stupid beast. I figured that would happen. Alright, now let's go to the bread and butter. And for the bread and butter, I am gonna put on increased area of effect. Simply because it's more fun that way. To have big ol' reaps. There you go. Alright. Fusings. Remember when those were divine orbs? Those were the good old days. Let's do a graveyard, why not? Rarefy it. Yeah, that should be fine. So this is the bread and butter of the build. Regular, alt go, and you get to the boss, then you fight the boss, and you alt go. It's pretty great. But keep in mind, with that increased area of effect, it is definitely a worse thing to do. It is a huge hit on my damage. It is probably like 30 to 40% less damage or something crazy like that. Because my crit chance is super low on my reap. Let's see. Hit the C button. Find the reap. Find the reap. The reap. Offense. 305% crit multiplier. A little higher than I was expecting it to be without that. You put that on, it goes to 450. And that's going to be about pretty close to 20% more. Okay, so I'm losing 20% more damage or something like that. Just doing quick maths. The team goes scrap. That meme died pretty quick, didn't it? I don't like that you have to double click them. I get they probably do it so you don't accidentally click it. But it'd just be better if it was just a one click. You click it, then you forget it. Click it and forget it. See a big difference between Simulacrum 100 and whatever level of Simulacrum I'm on right now. Not 100. See, that's where increased area of effect. It just makes it fun. It just makes it more fun to have a big ass reap. I gotta say, that was fun. Just reaping all those enemies up. It's a good time. This build's a good time. And it has acceptable levels of defense for regular mapping. 104% increased monster density. Now, initially, this build was a Whirling Blades cast on crit build. I would Whirling Blades around, and I would hit them with my Whirling Blade, then I'd cast on crit. But it really started to get me, you know, motion sickness, and it did not play well. Whirling Blade was just a little too awkward. I pumped my attack speed way up, and I was Whirling Blading around, but when you get to a single target, you like overshoot the distance of Whirling Blades a lot. It's not a good time. Would have made a somewhat interesting video, but I did record it. I decided not to post it. It just wasn't that good. I made a few duds lately. I figured I better put a banger out instead of a bunch of duds. This is pretty banger. Physical damage, unavoidable. Instant death. Physical damage is the weakness. See them arrows get me? Them ers. If you really wanted to, you can run the physical damage converted to an element chess piece. And do the whole convert all your phys damage to elements instead of Carcass Jack. I mean, that's totally fine. If you're a gem swapper, you can put your crit gem on here for the bosses, but the damage is high enough, this boss is gonna pretty much melt. Multi-curse might be pretty good. You can do vulnerability plus the curse. I don't want to mess with any of that. Hell, I could be applying all the curses with an Atma ring, and I have 8 power charges, so it's just going to give me maximum curse count. If you really wanted to do that, you could. I have enough of the 2%. I mean the 2 nodes, I need a 3 node. Let's do a Droxus. Droxus is always a great test for how much damage you're doing. %35 increased life. Unidentified, corrupted, meaning I can't identify. I'm gonna try anyways. I always try anyways. We're gonna go in blind, everybody. No clue what we're gonna get. First hit, reflect fizz, map over. That's what's gonna happen. Not reflect fizz. I need them Val orbs. Come on, Einhar, get to work. Get these beasts out of here. I mean, the build plays exactly like Cyclone Shockwave, which is one of my favorite builds. Far less blinding, but it's still pretty good. Sure, my eyes don't feel like they're bleeding, and that's a huge downside of this build. Well, maybe they have a MTX for REAP that'll make your eyes bleed, so it gives the positive effects of, you know, bleeding eyes. But I ain't got that MTX. I'm not gonna buy a REAP MTX, because as I was saying earlier, I don't have the mouse control to manually cast REAP and actually hit my target with enough percentage that it's gonna be stronger than Exsanguinate. Because of my limited game skill. Exsanguinate as a manual caster will always be superior to Reap in my builds. Well, when I play them. So anytime I'm manually casting, it will always be Reap. I mean, Exsanguinate and never Reap. But both skills are excellent. Wait, did I? I still have increased area of effect, so we can see what this looks like without increased area of effect. Maybe I'll come back through with crit damage. Look at my life. Non-existent. Rockin' 1 life total. So he got nerded. I'm gonna grab another one. And I'm gonna put the crit damage. I might as well just keep the crit damage on me. I have a 22er here. Put that crit damage in. I'm gonna run another Drox. This time with crit damage so you can see him melt away. Droxy. Mutaphysical, let's re-roll this guy. Oh shit. That'll do it. Oh, I need more scarabs. Gotta get that pack size. That's the strategy I like to do. I started out not using Grand Design for pack size, and then I switched to Grand Design, and I use up all my scarabs. I'll just go for some cheapos. I use up all my scarabs, and then I switch it back so I can pump up some scarabs. And I alternate between the two. Let's throw some Red Beast in here. Since I can't do Maven, let's grab that. And if you want, I can put Exsanguinate on. I have switched my amulet. I have a bunch of these amulets. I think I have 3 for Exsanguinate, because why not? So I put that amulet on for Exsanguinate. And we can see Exsanguinate if we really wanted to. But I'm not going to do it in this video. You have to request it. Look at that. 83% pack size with the smaller scarabs. Good, pretty good, pretty big. Too bad it doesn't result in more loot. It just results in more kills and more fun. It is kind of weird that killing monsters is no longer the way to get loot. League mechanics and Atlas strategies are the way to get loot. Boss rushing is where it's at right now. I've been boss rushing. Well, I can't say what I do is boss rushing, but I've been grabbing the boss nodes, so there's multiple bosses and they give me a bunch of maps. I can't do the pure boss rushing strategy. I'd want to die. I saw one person doing City Square map strategy, and he just pops into this city square, kills the map, pops out, and he does it in like 10 seconds a map or some shit like that. And he is just pumping out currency. It's like 15 divine an hour or something like that. But that is so boring. It is so boring to open up map, run, 10 feet, kill boss, repeat. I cannot do that kind of shit. Maybe for an hour, like if I really needed 10 divines, I could do that strategy for an hour. But to set up your whole atlas to do that, and to do that, it is just boring. Boring. I can't recommend not doing that enough. But some people like that kind of shit. I mean, it's boring to me. If that's your kink, I'm not gonna kink shame too much. He was too big. I didn't get to see his life. Well, that was fast. Okay, well, apparently it is way more than 20% damage getting this extra crit. Alright, let's put increased area of effect on. And let's run some fun maps. Let's see what we got here. What's a fun map? Let's kill a Fireboy. Fireboy is a pretty fun map. Reduce cooldown. That'll keep my life up a little higher. Now, if you wanted to go rares instead of the unique boots and the unique helmet and the unique body armor, that's probably a much better choice to go rares instead of uniques, because you get all the spell suppression you need, and I will save at least 10 points, 10 passive points, by not grabbing spell suppression on the tree. And at minimum, I can save 4 to 5 by only grabbing one of the spell suppression nodes. Which will give you enough to add a lot of damage in this build. And if you're level 100, you know, it's gonna be a lot of damage anyways. What the hell was that? That was rude. I didn't feel like I wanted to die right in that moment. I was kind of just doing alright, you know, I was just chilling. And then that guy hit me, stunned me, stuttered me, and then fluttered me. Just in case he's got that nasty for me again. Oh, it's I knew he had the nasty for me again. I knew it. I'm gonna put that on. It's probably not worth it to use increased area of effect. It's fun, it's memey, it makes the reaps all big, but the loss in damage is pretty wild. Oh, I also might want to pop my auras. To me, it's just super annoying that you have to do that. I get it. And I guess, you know, if you just don't die, you don't have to repop your auras, so just don't die. Always a better strategy, just don't die. AoE is one of those things that you get spoiled with. It's like when you play a really... Like, I'm getting spoiled with this build a little bit, because the damage is so much higher than all my other builds. So you get spoiled a little bit with that AoE, and then once you get away from the AoE, you're like a crackhead, like a junkie. You want that AoE back. Like, right now, all I want is that AoE back that I lost by putting on the crit multiplier. Like a junkie. Oh. Excellent. Well, I was gonna say excellent. I got infused on, but I was too busy focused on the fact I was getting infused on. Not infused, ghosted. I was getting ghosted. Get me ghosted, baby. Alright, I'm ghosted. I'm ghost as fuck, boys. I can't see anything. In that map, I couldn't see. There's too much shit going on. I couldn't see jack diddly-hoo. Alright, let's fight a boss. Let's fight Maven. Let's fight Maven. I am terrible at Maven, and with this much damage, Maven should be no problem. Maven should be no problemo at all. I don't know why I'm uncasting my auras when I mean to be switching this to Frostblink, so I can Frostblink over the degen beams. How much are Mavens? Are Mavens still expensive? One of my favorite strategies is farming up Maven invitations and then just getting rid of them. As you can see, I have 8 invitations here. What do we got? We had a divine still. 1.3 divine. Yeah, so if I ever need cash, I can just sell these Maven invitations. Wait, can you corrupt Maven invitations? I can't remember. Nope. Just straight Maven. Well, we all know Maven ain't straight, but you know what I'm talking about. Maven's totally a rug muncher. Or at minimum, a pole dancer and a rug muncher. She doing both. She can get work done. Where'd you go to, Maven? Are you afraid of me? You run away in fear? Okay, it's gonna explode, right? Yep, it's going to explode. Well, I don't know what was damaging me. Then he's gonna throw beams out. I barely missed that beam. And then memory game? Yeah, memory game. I don't fight Maven often, so I always have to say out loud what's next, or else I'll forget. First Maven game is nice and easy. The boss is well designed in the fact that it teaches you the mechanics slowly. This is old school game design. Teaches you the mechanics slowly, and then it ramps them up. So it teaches you a 3-thing memory game, then it ramps it up a bunch. Oh, it's gonna explode. Boomy booms. Then, oh, he got me. Oh, no, I guess that doesn't count. It gives you a grace period. That's nice. Because I totally got hit by it. I just got punched. Got past my block chance. What is my block chance? So the odds of that hitting me, I'm at 68% chance to evade, which means it has, 32% chance to hit. So it got past the evasion. Then my chance to block is block chance, 23% chance to block attack. So then it got past the block, and then it got the cock. Happens. It's not that rare. It'd be real nice to get my chance to evade up to 80%. Where are you, Maven? Oh, there you are. You just visual glitched out. Let's put you right over here. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Made it. See, I totally forgot that he was gonna blow up. Got. Yeah, I'm not used to dying from those mid bosses. What the hell is this? Who dies from the mid bosses? I never die from the mid bosses, and yet every death is from the mid boss so far. All right, where are you at, Maven? There you are. Fucking. Oh, I hate this fight. Didn't even. I can't pay attention. I just cannot pay attention to everything you have to pay attention to. I'm too old. This is not an old man's fight. Wait, where is she? Oh, fuck. She's doing memory game. I think that's left, right, left, right. I can't even see it. I just guessed it and got it. Oh, my god. Get fucked, Maven. The worst player in Path of Exile just wrecked your dick off. You are a loser. A huge loser, Maven. Anyone who gets beat by me is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Sad showing, Miss Maven. What do you go for? Orb of Conflict. You're cheap as fuck. I just got dudded. Let's put on increased area of effect. Let's do a couple of these regular T16s. This is where it shines. What's a good map we can do? Underground River is pretty solid. A bit long. Reef is thick. Spider... I already did Silo. Let's do a race course. Race around with the horsies. Let's race around with the horsies. Let's get more of these scarabs. Oh, I probably can't use both of these. I really like these rogue metamorphs in your map. I always forget to do metamorph. But throwing the rogue metamorphs in there, it'll get your essences. Your... I always forget what those things are called. Your attribute pump uppers. I'm never gonna remember. Catalyst, there we go. You get a lot of catalysts from those rogue guys. You just put them in your map, and you just get those catalysts kind of passively. So a couple hours, and then all of a sudden you're loaded up on catalyst. You're obviously not going to get the rare elemental resistance ones, because those don't really exist. They pretend they exist, but they're for the most part non-existent. God, that was a huge stretch of just emptiness. 93% increased pack size. You see that long stretch of nothingness? I don't know if that's a effective race course, being a very not dense map, but sometimes it feels like that increased pack size it's a liar. It's a fucking liar. Or there's something like increased pack size and then pack quantity. So let's say there's 30 packs in the map and then increases the size of each of those packs, but it doesn't increase the amount of packs. Yeah, give me that beyond. I'd like a Beyond Boss, please. No Beyond Boss. That was fun. Nice little zooby zoo. Nooby doo. Shippy boo. Am I losing my mind? Am I crazy? No, you're crazy. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Let's see what we got here. We got any more of this? Oh, I was gonna fight a red boss. Oh, I did fight a red boss. It died instantly. None of these are pumped up, are they? Let's do a, breach. Breach. Breach! Now we won't need the increased area of effect. We'll put that on. I say we won't need it because we're going to be just like riding the line, killing everything as it comes. I really like these breach zones. I've always found these to be just spectacularly fun. Just in case the unforeseen happens. I wanted to get in here before my power charges wore off. Nice and easy. Alright, let us put the increased area of effect back on, and let's hit the mines. Hit them mines. Where am I going? Where am I at? Where am I going? Let's just head right to there. Oh yeah, this is nice for the mines. First time being in the mines with it. I think. Now, obviously my mines are not very deep, so they're not very difficult. I've never actually done Delve. I wasn't playing Path of Exile when Delve released. I played Path of Exile at launch, and the game was absolute trash, so I just wrote it off. I didn't really understand games as a service. As someone who doesn't play MMOs, I started out as like a console gamer who mostly played JRPGs, you know, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Xenogears, Chrono Cross, all those good things. Those games, they release, and you get what you get. Kind of like old school Nintendo model. You don't have iterations. The game doesn't improve. It's fixed. So my brain was still in that world when Path of Exile first launched. So I just assumed Path of Exile was always going to be shitty. And wrote the game off. Then I kept seeing my little bro playing it. And I saw he accrued, I think, 3,000 hours on the game. So I was asking, like, why the hell are you playing that trash game we played like 8 years ago? And he was like, nah, it's great, it's been updated. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, dude, it's been updated. It's good now. And I was like, alright, I'll give it a shot. And that was sometime after Delve. I don't know exactly when I picked it back up. A couple of years now. 3 or 4 or 5. Maybe even 10. I don't know. I don't know time anymore. Time doesn't mean anything now. I don't even know why the hell I'm talking about this. Do we have any bosses? Did I pass any bosses? No, there's no bosses. Alright, I think you have... Wait. There's a boss. How quickly... Oh, I don't even know how the hell I get over there. Probably up and down and over. Alright, I think you have a gist of the build. I've given a good enough demonstration, I believe. I hit enough areas. I did enough content. I didn't do Ubers. Let's take a look at my Atlas strat. My Atlas strategy is a grand design bossing strategy. Trying to utilize pack size to get as many enemies in the map for fun, and these bad boys here to increase pack size. I should go buy some wing scarabs, but I'm waiting for the juiciest possible map. I want to find a map with 55% pack size. I've been doing it this whole time, trying to get 55% pack size on a map. And then I'm going to go buy wing scarabs. I'm going to try to get the biggest pack size number I can. So this is a strategy I use. I went over here because I think this is pretty hot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this little block. Then you got a quick 3er there. And then, oh, why do I have... Oh yeah, this is so they can possess me. Delirium. And then these guys are all just so thick. 1% pack size each, and then these are real nice pack size. And there might be better ways to do it, but I was already over here, and I used the least amount of re-rolls to get it. So this is what I'm doing. I think it's 46% pack size. You can probably get a little higher if you like ultra optimize it. Ultra, but let's just open up one of these trash maps just to see. This is the fastest way to see what the increased pack size is. Pretty sure it's 46. 43. It lost some pack size because I went and I grabbed these guys. I went and grabbed these over here, so it lost a lot of pack size heading over there. But it was 46 at one point. Now it's 43. So it lost 3%. That's fine. And let's go ahead and open up POB as we close out this build. Let me put that on there for a second. Give it a few moments. Let me upgrade some scarabs. I need to give it a few moments so the backend API information will update. So that way when I go to import my build, it'll have that gem I just put in there. Alright, that should be enough time for it to update. Import my build. Skills. Cyclone Reap. Enable damage. Alright, we are looking at... what is that? Is that 1 million without anything? Yeah, that's 1 million. So let's go to config. I am always on low life. There is my... wait, how did it go from 1 million? Okay, Gabe. Okay. Okay. You work fine. Yeah, this is fine. Went from 1 million to 800 somehow by selecting that and unselecting that. I don't know. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Pob. Get them power. Damn, look at that. 1 million to 7 million just from power charges. I don't think I have live tap. I'm getting onslaught from that flask. It's a thing that like enables flask, but I don't know where that is. I do have arcane surge. Wait, why isn't arcane surge? Oh shit! Arcane. I forgot they switched arcane surge to do cast speed. This whole time I got arcane surge, thinking it was gonna do more damage. Over here, you know what? I'm just gonna do it before I forget. I don't even need that anymore. I don't even need this whole thing. I can get rid of this whole block and just do an aura thing or something. Do 2 points, but oh, that's just disappointing. I totally forgot. It even says it right there. Increase cast speed. Arcane Surge does nothing for this build. Ugh. I feel like an idiot. I feel like the dumbest person that's lived today. No Tailwind. No Adrenaline. I like to click them just to see what it do. I do use Endurance charges. Have I crit recently? I don't think that matters. 1 rare by enemy. If the enemies are on low life, it's 18 million deeps. If they're at full life, it's 17 million deeps. So it's probably like a 14 million deeps right now. I like to just cut that in half. Maybe even a little higher. Because of the... I mean a little lower. I don't know. It's like 14 million. I'm just going to stop there. Crush does nothing. Pride. Let's go maximum effect. I'm channeling Cyclone. Is it a boss? It is a Guardian Pinnacle boss. We're looking at 15 million deeps. That's probably what we got here. Let's put the enemy on low life. So it's 20 million on a low life. And 11 million on a full life. Well, actually, full life hit is 19. So you're going to hit him. Well, you hit him with Cyclone first. So it's not going to be a full life. Kind of hate that. But, so it's like 15. I'm going to call it 15 million deeps. 15 million deeps. Effective health pool is 24,000. So the effective health pool is pretty shit. As you see, the max chaos hit is only 4,000. The max phase is only 7,000. So from a defensive standpoint, that is your weakest link. So if you want to improve this build, increase your evasion so you get hit less. You can do something crazy with block chance if you really want to. Or you can ignore all that and just go more damage. You can just go more damage. Watch this. Watch this. Watch what happens. Skills. Watch what happens if I just increased awaken. I have empower, right? Let's say I have an awaken empowered. Max level. Increases just 1 level. I was expecting it to be a little more dramatic than that. Let's just pretend that it was more dramatic than that tiny, measly increase in damage. I was expecting something grand. Oh. Yeah, I was expecting it. I don't know why I was expecting it to go up a lot. But there's some things you can do to increase your damage a ton. That is all. That is all. What happens if you have a 21 reap? That's a little bit more damage for 21 reap. That is it. That is the build. 15 million damage. COC Reaper. That is all that I have.